or this one is a favourite, here's another live for you to enjoy.
Hello everyone, it's Rebecca here. How are we all? Today I'm doing one of my absolute favourite dinners. Haven't done it for quite some time. 3 cheese corniglione. Excuse my pronunciation. This is the pasta that you use, the shell pasta. We're going to fill it up. Now what I've done in preparation for this, instead of boiling a pot on a stove, because I'm very spoilt to have one of each here, I've boiled the kettle. So I've got my blade cover inside the bowl. I'm obviously not going to pull it out and show you. Hey Ash, you just have to take my word for it. And I'm going to measure in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now the recipe asks for 16. Get those unattached there. I do around 24. So I reckon that will cover me. Maybe one for good luck, right? So this recipe is super tasty, but I do have a tweak for it. So stay tuned, pay attention, or make sure you come back and watch the whole replay. Now that pasta is in there. Using my basket, what I'm simply going to do is do the time. Hang on a minute, go home. We want, let's go with about 8 minutes on those. 100 degrees. And I'll put it in reverse. And we'll try speed 2. Just to get that round and round. Oh, the other thing I forgot, which is rather important, is a bit of salt. Add that in through the hole up the top. I'm going to dial it back to speed 1 because that's going to be sufficient. I just wanted to get it turning around and make sure that that pasta all stays nice and separate and cooks away in there. So we're using our blade cover peeler attachment. Now I have a lot of people asking me about that. So I thought tonight when I do the pasta, let's do that. Oh darling, yes, I've had a mole cut out of my back yesterday. I'm really probably not feeling my normal bubbly self, but here we are, we're here. All right. This recipe is one that I made so many times that my husband, bless him, ended up saying to me, can we have a pause from it? Because I just become a bit that way. Hey Kylie, that if I find a recipe I love, I go a bit crazy and I make it a lot. All right, so we haven't made it since we've lived here, or maybe we had once. I can't remember. Anyway, we're having it tonight. I love to cook this in my lovely Thera cast iron pan, and the reason is it needs to be covered for the first part of the cook. So I just cook it with the lid on, then take the lid off, rather than using up alfoil. So first part of the recipe, this is 3 cheese. So there are 3 cheeses in this, and the cheeses are Parmesan, ricotta, and mozzarella. I think really, you know, I'm always about versatility. Yeah, all right. So I'm always about versatility, but at the same time, there are 3 pretty important cheeses to this recipe. So I would say get the proper cheeses to make this one. Sometimes you can absolutely swap out and just put cheddar rather than Swiss, or Parmesan instead of Gruyere, whatever it might be, but you want to stick to traditional with this. Okay, so I've raided my little plant, and that's about as much basil as I've got out of it. It says 10 leaves. This is probably about 20 little tiny ones. Still not enough in my opinion. I love basil, I love the flavour. But what I do is I substitute with a bit of the good old spinach. All right, so it's green, it's leafy, and I like to get that nice bit of colour This is the filling for the pasta shells that we're making up first. So we're going to chop that down now. Alright, then we're going to add our ricotta cheese. So I made a ricotta dish the other night, and oh my goodness, that was so delicious, by the way. That's another one that's now in my mind and I want to make again, and that was the pancetta pine nut pappardelle with ricotta. We did fettuccine, pine nut with streaky bacon and ricotta. Guys, I cannot encourage you enough. Get to the deli and get the proper crumbly ricotta, not the stuff in the tub that you buy. It's just not the same. And to be honest with you, the one you buy at the deli, the price point, I reckon is probably going to be better than buying that round tub of the smooth ricotta. Excuse me just a minute, we've got someone at the door. There we go. So, this is that bit of ricotta that needs using. So we're going to add that in now. So there's our spinach and basil all beautifully chopped up in there. Yeah, look, honestly, the smooth ricotta stuff is just not the same. And Ash, absolutely, you must, it is an absolute easy thing to make your own. And especially if you ever see any reduced price milk anywhere, then guys, make it. It's so easy to make. It is milk and vinegar. And I have done that quite a few times. However, I've cheated. You know what? You do what you can with what you've got, and when you feel like doing that, you do it. If you don't, you know? This is the wonderful thing about Thermomix. You pick your battles, as I always say, and choose how involved you want to get with the whole process of cooking. No judgment here. Right, so salt and pepper. And 50 grams of that reserved Parmesan cheese is going in there, which is about half. And then we're going to mix that all together. And this is a stuffing for the shells. So, meanwhile, in my other machine here, I'm cooking the pasta shells already. So, yes, exactly, Ash. It's like that, isn't it? Mel, it is so easy, it's ridiculous. It's literally, and I would say, someone asked the other day, could they use long life milk? Look, I don't know the answer to that. All I can think is long life milk goes through a lot of processing. It's pasteurized, it's all those things, you know, to the point, and heated and all that to be long life. I would err on the side of no, use fresh and use full cream, okay? I would 100% use full cream. When I make it, I've used Aldi organic milk, or I like the milks with the cream on top. Just that creaminess is going to help you get more ricotta. Let's put it that way. The more watery your milk is, the less ricotta you're going to get, because you're basically going to separate the curds and the whey. And the other hot tip is don't throw that water out. You can use it in your bread baking in place of water. There's loads of things you can do with that. So there's our filling for our beautiful 3 cheese corleone. Now I've got a minute on the clock here. I reckon I'm going to just stop it and let it cool for a minute and have a look. Now we want to transfer that to a bowl, set it aside, clean the bowl. Look, I'm blessed to have many bowls, so I'm just going to grab another and carry on. Consultant life. If anyone out there would like to earn lots of good fun free stuff, then get in touch. Let's get you on as a consultant, because we were having a chat today at our team leader meeting, and we're figuring out how much stuff we've got, not only paid but extras, and it's pretty darn generous, let me just say. So if you're looking for a bit of extra money making, give us a shout. Right, so what's going to happen now, let me check this pasta over here. Pull a bit out with a slotted spoon, wherever you are. Too many things in there. And just check it's ready for this stage. No, it needs a bit longer. All right, so put that back on. on. Should just give it another little minute. Let's go 1.5. Alright, so we're using the blade cover under there and we're doing the pasta in that bowl, treating it basically like a saucepan. Alright, so clean bowl, we're going to carry on. So we want 2 garlic cloves for this one. I think I need some more. Oh no, here we go. There's some here. Garlic cloves, again, that's an ingredient you measure with your heart. This is one very giant garlic clove. This is the tomato sauce that we're making now, I believe. Yes. So with that, you add as much garlic or onion or whatever you want, really. But my hot tip with this particular recipe is to add stock paste in place of the salt. So stock paste is a must make when you have a Thermomix. I can't understand anyone who doesn't make it and have it constantly. It's a punch of flavour for every dish that you're going to make in your Thermomix savoury wise. If a recipe is asking for amounts of a teaspoon of salt, then you want to put a tablespoon of stock instead. Just exactly the same. It's going to give you the saltiness without with adding extra flavour, which is so good. Ash, you're my kind of girl. So I've got some onions that I was chopping up a bit of I think it was yesterday or the day before, wasn't it? So we'll just throw those in. I'm just going to keep going because it's all going to get chopped up and cooked up in the tomato sauce itself. And I really don't want to put aside just a few little bits of onion. All right. And saying that, I have got more garlic, so I might just add a little more because flavour. So again, I always say to you all, when I'm here, you taste your food. These recipes are guided; they're not the law. Make them your own. Add more flavour. You're in charge. Ultimately, you are in charge. So you must make it. It's so good, Cherie. You'll love it. Yes. So please, don't ever be afraid to make these recipes your own. If you're making a recipe and you think, well, if I made something like this, I'd normally add this, that, and the other. Please, I beg of you to do it. Okay? Be creative. You are totally in control here. If you want to just follow the recipes as they stand, they are perfectly fine, most of them. But I reckon it's really nice to add tweaks and just, put your own stamp on each recipe and allow yourself to be a little creative. Now, that's where someone like me comes in handy for those of you that maybe think you're not creative. I will help you be that way. Absolute. Okay. So in there you go. We want olive oil to go in. So our pasta is done. Let's chop that up and let's drain this pasta out now. It'll be absolutely fine for me. So there we are. That was with the blade cover and peeler to basically turn this into a saucepan tonight. That was how I cooked that pasta there. So we'll just leave that sit and cool down a little bit before I stuff it because I do it by hand and it can be very warm. All right, so getting back to the sauce. The other thing with this recipe, now we're cooking. The other thing with this particular recipe is that it now will tell me to cook the pasta while we're doing all this stuff here. I know the recipe so well that I cheat and jump ahead. So, brilliant. Andrea, love that. How are you, my darling? Good to see you. Yeah, it's really good and it's very versatile indeed. So, while that's doing that, let's get the asbestos fingers of mine out. Now I'm just going to give that a bit of a shake. Don't drop things. Fine. Right, so pasta shells at the ready. We want a spoon in that mixture that we mixed up right at the start. I don't think we need you anymore. Alright, and have these ready to go in your dish, whichever dish you're planning to use, of course. I might just give this a quick squirt of olive oil spray. And then just using your spoon, fill up each shell with some of that filling. I can have a tendency to overstuff. You don't really need to overstuff it, but, you know, it's nice when you bite in and get a good mouthful of yummy flavour, that's for sure. So yes, we've got, for anyone that's jumped on a bit later, we've added in as much basil as I actually had and then pumped it up with some spinach to give it that lovely, really lovely green flavour. Hot, hot, hot. My screen is black. Your screen on your machine. You might have a TM5. You can adjust the colour of your screen. Do you? Could be. I don't know that you can make these screens dark anymore. You might be able to. I have no idea. It was never something that I like. I like a bright screen. I'm hard of sight, wearing glasses, so I like to... Oh, you can't see. It's black. Oh. Yeah. Can anyone else not see me? Probably got internet connection, maybe. I don't know. Can't help you there. I'll just carry on and pretend that everything's fine. There you go. Everyone else can see me clearly. So, yeah. Okay. Get in there. Filling. So this is a vegetarian recipe. So if you have any vegetarian friends, this would be a nice one to make. Obviously very not vegan because it has 3 cheeses in it. So what we do next is complete the tomato sauce and pour that over the top of the shells with the filling in there. Like I said, if you were to do this recipe yourselves, I'm jumping the gun, quite well jumping the gun, only because I've made it many times and I know I can. Piping bag would be easy, yes, but another thing I'd have to clean up or throw out. So I actually find doing things like this quite therapeutic. Hey Canada. Yeah, I don't mind doing this. Don't mind doing it one little bit. Right, I've only got 3 shells to go. And a bit of filling left. But yes, you absolutely could. If I was doing a cannelloni, 100%, great way to get every bit of it into the cannelloni nice and tidy and neat using the piping bag. But yeah, I don't mind doing this. I always say it's more fun if you make a mess. Hey Melissa, you can see. It must have been a glitch on your end, darling. So I'll just go back and keep filling up the ones that I've been a little less generous with. Alright, so that's our saute of the sauce done. I'm not finished here. I'm going to go back and fill some of these with a little extra because there's still some in there. That spatula to get that out. Alright, so Into this, we're going to add the chopped tomatoes, tinned tomatoes. If you had some very ripe tomatoes you needed to use, you could certainly chop them first with the onion and the garlic, I reckon. Throw them in. Now, from experience, these usually yield about just over 300. Yes, not the 400 that they claim. So I'll just use 2, which will give me a little extra sauce. That doesn't matter because that sauce can go aside and be used on a pizza. It can be used for many other things. All right, want more fresh basil leaves, which I do not have. So I'm going to come in with the dry stuff because it will do. I'm going to put a bit of sugar to neutralise the acidity of those tomatoes. So a teaspoon. Just sprinkle that in. A good guesstimator. Pepper, and then it's going to ask me for the salt. And instead of salt, I put our stock paste, okay? A bit of pepper, that's flavour. So yes, it says 1 teaspoon of fine salt. So I'm going to do this, right, with my vegetable stock paste, a good heap tablespoonful. In she goes. Okay? Because that is going to give this sauce an elevation of flavour, the saltiness, all that stuff, right? You can absolutely use a jar of passata as well. Use what you have at home, 100%. All right, so there we go. That's going to cook for 20 minutes. So this is where it's going to say now, preheat your oven, do this, do that. I've done most of it. So what that would mean for me is I could actually just leave this sit and rest and go and put my feet up for 20 minutes. I've still got some more filling. I'm going to fill up these shells with that delicious filling. Because some of these are a little less filling than others. And I'm not wasting one little bit of this. So, you can absolutely adjust these recipes to suit you and your time frames. The total time is a great thing to look at, but also have a read of the recipe, okay? Read the recipe. What does it say? If it tells you to do this and then do that and then do this and then do that, perhaps you can do this in the morning and then cook the sauce later on. Perhaps you can cook the tomato sauce component 2 days in advance. Make the pasta in the shells, put the sauce over the top and cook it. Do you know what I mean? There are many, many ways of skinning a cat, as they say. I know that's a horrible saying because I have cats. But don't ever be put off. Make it work. If you really want to have something like this recipe, but you don't have, what is the total time it tells you? Let me see. I think it's well over an hour. An hour and 30 minutes. You don't have an hour and 30 minutes, then do the components. Make the sauce the day before, the night before, 2 days before, a week before, a month before, and freeze it. I don't know. But you can absolutely make these recipes work in your time frames by making components in advance. All right? And I make a recipe and quite often will go, oh yeah, well I don't need to do steps in that order. I can change it up and make it work for me and how I want to be in the kitchen. Hello, my dimity. All right, so that's pretty much all that covered, done. What I will do now is wash my hands. I'll give you a little look at these shells. They're all filled now with that beautiful basil, ricotta, parmesan filling. There's a little bit of scope that can go in. On the top of this, once the sauce is cooked, you're going to put mozzarella. So we might just slice a bit of mozzarella to put on top. I do have some leftover grated mozzarella that I will also use up now to save wasting that. This is the pasta that you want to buy for this recipe. I'm not saying particularly this brand, but note the size of the shells. Okay, they are a large shell. The conleone can be sold in little tiny shells. God, you'd be there forever trying to get the stuffing into them. So you want the nice big shells. This is a brand that I think is the Coles sell this. But there's plenty of different places and different brands you can pick that up from. And as I think it was Andrea, I can't remember, said you could do it as a cannelloni. You could use lasagna sheets and roll it up. There's so many things you can do. Yum, that sounds great. Oh, you're going to Luke Combs? Oh, you're funny. I don't know if Mel's around, but I saw Mel's been to that. Not a country fan myself, but enjoy. Hope you have a great time. He's very popular, isn't he? All right, so while that's doing that, like I said, normally, now I've given myself 20 minutes to do something else, I would therefore go and do something else. But I'm here live with you all. So what I'm going to do is slice a bit of this mozzarella, or try to with my slicer. It's never a very easy cheese to slice, this block mozzarella, and get that aside ready for being placed on top with that bit of grated cheese that I've got. Probably should just grate it. You could just totally chop it up because it's going to melt. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to worry particularly about presentation. It's just going to become part of the topping of cheese. So, in fact, let's just put it in with the grated cheese, some slices of it. I suppose you could also buy your proper, really lovely, soft mozzarella cheese and just break it up and put it over the top. And in fact, yum. That would definitely be something I would love to do one of these days when I make this recipe. I reckon that will do what we've got there. So I'll put that away for another pizza night. And carry on. Jay, welcome. The reason that is on top is to allow the steam to come out, because we're doing a tomato sauce for a pasta dish, and we want reduction. So this is going to allow steam to come out, but if any bits of tomato are popping out the top, they're staying in thanks to the simmer basket. Oh, you got 2 of the slices. You've been to IKEA. Oh, so good. I love those slices. And they're so cheap, so it's good to have a backup, because I think we have gone through them and broken them. All right, excuse me while I just, actually no, I will have a little bit more spinach for the top. I just remembered, for garnishing after. We'll leave that out. We'll finish that up actually. Put the basil away. What else? So I did another batch of my cookie dough because the oven was going on. There is a lot to learn, so stay tuned. Happy to help. Look at the size of these babies. They're massive. They're a lot bigger than I normally would make. That beautiful Belgian chocolate in there. I used a different scoop this time. I used the Tupperware scoop with the middle size, and I think I'll go back to my Wilshire size, my Wilshire cookie scoop, because I think it was a better size cookie. These are really quite large, and they did tend to navigate towards each other a little bit there because they were so big. But you can imagine these are really just cooled down, nice and warm, full of that beautiful Belgian chocolate. And look, there's some on the mat. What a shame. Hey, Jay. So I might have to clean that up a little bit. Too salty. Well, let's have a look at that recipe. Let's have a look and see what it might have been. So we're talking about an Italian, what is it? Italian salad dressing. It's on Cookie Dough, I assume. I've not made it before. I usually do a vinaigrette, which I've done for many, many, many years prior to having a Thermomix. Italian salad dressing. Yeah. Oh, American one. Sugar, a teaspoon of salt. That is a lot of salt. Especially when you're adding onion powder. Because our onion powder can be enough sort of saltiness. So my advice would be, do the dressing, taste it, add a tiny bit of salt, mix it up, add more if you need it, or stop right there. Okay? Seasoning can be something that, where do you add it? At step 2. Yeah, I literally put a pinch and then go back at the end and add more later. Was the actual flavour, apart from that saltiness, was the flavour nice? Let me know. I'll tell you, my one, the Asian salad dressing, I love that recipe. That is just delicious. Asian salad dressing is really good. So let's have a look at when you type in, say, just dressing. So don't forget to do that too. Just a word of it, not the whole salad dressing. Just put dressing and see. Oh, honey. So the hot tip is, if it's ever too salty, add a little bit more sugar. Do you? You might be asking the wrong person, Jules, but ask me. Ask me your question. Because that was a tip recipe. We've got a garlic herb marinade, Caesar salad dressing, whoops, Italian dressing, ranch dressing, Caesar dressings, miso dressings, citrus, carrot, miso, ginger. Always check the star ratings as well. Mustard balsamic vinegar dressing sounds delicious. That's possibly similar to what I do. What I do is I add, devein the prawns without peeling them. Yeah, that's a Tiffany question. Have you sent her a message? She might be busy. If you ask her, I have no idea. She has a trick on how she does it. She actually asked the place where she buys her prawns. You did? Has she not got back to you? Sometimes she's busy. I know she's with her family tonight, so she might be concentrating on them. But I have no idea. Have you Googled, Jules? Sorry to say that. I know that's a really cop-out. Oh, yeah. I have no idea, babe. I am absolutely of no help to you whatsoever, because I don't cook prawns. Have a Google. I'm sure it's there. So yeah, my salad dressing, actually I'm interested to see what was in that balsamic one here. What does it say? My salad dressing was taught to me years ago. Oh no, that's got far too many ingredients. By a beautiful, beautiful lady that I used to live in Saudi Arabia for just a year and a half. And there was a lovely, lovely, lovely lady that ran a little cafe over there on our compound where we lived. And I worked with her and helped her out. And she was the one that taught me. And it was literally honey, about a tablespoon of honey, and you put, say, depending on how much you want of it, of course. I have one of these little things, and I made it the other night, actually. This little salad dressing container. It's a little Jamie Oliver gadget, so I actually just make it in there, and it makes enough for that night. I don't make it to keep it in advance, so to speak. So I put enough olive oil, vinegar, mustard, honey, and that's it. I'm sure that's it. Olive oil, vinegar, mustard, honey. And then I just shake it up in this little thing, and that's it. That's it. How you search and not lose your recipes. If you press the home button, I don't know if you can see, but on my screen there's a little green bookmark there. So if I tap on that green bookmark, it takes me back to my recipe where I am. So if you're cooking away, you just press the home button on here and then swipe, and then you can search. As easy as that. You can even go and look at your own collection. So you can go home, up in here to your recipes, to your collections, and find something else to make for, say, dessert. So yeah, that's a pretty cool feature. I love that one. So yeah, so salad dressing for me is a tablespoon of honey, a bit of olive oil, a bit of vinegar, a bit of mustard, shake it up together. Easy, delicious. And taste. Have a taste. What does it need? A bit more acid, a bit more vinegar, a bit more olive oil, whatever the case might be. You can change it up. Yeah. So there you go. So yeah, back to here. We've got 5 minutes to go. And we're going to pour the sauce over this because I've done all the next steps.
Are you going to make my cheese?
Yes, I am. So we're going to pour that over, we're going to put the cheese on top, and then that's going into the oven, and that's it. So, there we go. Melissa, Jules, I don't know if you're watching, Jules might have jumped off already to go. Oh, there we go. Just found a YouTube. There you go. Honestly, YouTube is the amount of times you can just go and search up. The other hot tip, beautiful Melissa there was asking me last night, is there a recipe for something that she loves? And I went quickly and Google Thermomix and the item that it is, and you'll find something. So if ever you have something that you love in your life that you want to make a Thermomix version of, then that's what you do. Go to good old Google, type Thermomix first, and then whatever it is you're looking for. So what was it, Melissa? Jupiter bars, wasn't it? So Thermomix Jupiter bars, and there was a couple of recipes there. The one I probably thought was the better one was definitely the Road to Loving My Thermomixer, which is TRTLNT, I think it is. Peter, beautiful Peter, she is a recipe developer from like 31 days. So her recipes are, she's got lots of things on, even how to make her own washing powders, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, Google Thermomix first and then whatever. Right, how long do you reckon these will last in my jar with my lovely label from Dimity? 5 minutes, not even. I reckon if we wake up in the morning and there's one cookie left in there, I'll be very shocked. So it's this, I have to write it, and I've got to write it backwards, which is even trickier. So it's The Road to Loving My Thermomixer. So if you search up TRTLMT, and her website are amazing. Kylie Dimity, who's one of my lovely customers and friends, who is quite often in my comments here. She made that cookie label for me with her cricket. I think I'd love a cricket, but I just don't need another thing. There she is. So Dimity makes labels, so handmade, handcrafted by Dim. So give her a follow, have a chat to her, she'll make you some labels, I'm sure. They do look great, don't they? She made me a lovely one for my baker's flour as well, because nobody has a pre-made baker's flour. They have flour, self-raising plain, but no baker's flour. And also my coconuts looking at me nice and boldly through my pantry glass, because it's really hard to get a coconut as well, which is ridiculous, because coconuts are widely used ingredient in lots of things. You're amazing. Yes, if you've got the kit to do it, why not, Dimity, and make yourself a little bit of money on the side there. Brilliant. All right, so we've got 2 minutes to go on the old pasta sauce here. I'm actually very tempted to just stop it and chuck it in and get off my feet and go and sit down. I had another mole removed yesterday, so it feels a bit like someone has a hot something and poking me in my back right now. It's just joyful. Yes, Melissa, potato starch. Agreed. What have I got on mine? No, mine's still sitting in my old plastic actually. And I think, oh, how funny. Someone obviously, I think I bought some labels from someone many years ago and I had that one made up. And yeah, it's one like Dimity's. It's a single letter, so I can't peel that off. But then I've got a daggy old Dymo label on the back. But yeah, I probably could do with one of those labels. And coconut sugar, that's another one. I've got coconut sugar still with a homemade label. Yeah, is it ouch? Yeah, what else? Tapioca. I think that's another one that you rarely find. And I use a bit of tapioca. The rest of them I think I had covered. Possibly a granola. Just looking over behind you in my pantry. So, what's everyone else having for dinner? We're on good time too. It's 5 to 5, isn't it? Right, so it says pour the sauce. Here we go, cooling down. We're down to the seconds. Pour the sauce. Sprinkle on the cheese, the mozzarella, and then we're going to cover with the lid instead of foil and bake that for 35 minutes and then take the lid off and give it 5 minutes to get nice and golden and then tuck in and eat this delicious, delicious pasta dish. If you haven't tried it, please give it a go. I highly recommend it. Just maybe don't do what I did and make it so many times that your family says, enough for a while, please. Schnitties! Oh, we love a schnitty. Oh, look, I've just splashed sauce everywhere there because I wasn't really paying attention. All over my black. I tell you, that's one thing I love about a black TM6 is you cannot see the mess as much as you can on your white. Now, I have some exciting news to share with you all that I found out today. If anyone out there happens to have a white TM6 and you would love a black one, you can actually sign up and earn a black one if you already have a white one. So, if anyone out there is looking for a side hustle to make some money on the side, if you're interested in finding out anything about being a consultant, please reach out. I'd love to give you the information. If you have a consultant already in your life that you love, please go and talk to them. But if you are looking for someone to look after you, then reach out to me. And yes, if you would like to get a pair like mine, we can make that happen. So, yeah, try it. It's so delicious. So, getting that sauce all over, spread it out. It's just yum. The shells are kind of cute. I reckon you definitely, the whole rolling up lasagna sheets would be absolutely fine too. Making fresh ones. One of these days, I must do that actually. Do the fresh lasagna sheets and do some cannelloni. Is that what you call it? Cannelloni? Ricotta cannelloni? It is, isn't it? I think it is. Oh, well, like I said, come and get one. You can earn one. You might even get it even half price. So reach out to your consultant and ask them all about it. Everyone's going to be finding out about that little bonus that's just started for anyone with a white who might really love a black. You can earn one. Okay. Cheese is on. Where's my lid? What do I do with the lid? Do you know? Oh, here. So, I'll show you that quickly before a nice bit of a close-up before I pop it in. There we go. Lid's going to go on. That's going in the oven. And when it comes out, 5 minutes with the lid off, of course. I'm going to tuck in and enjoy it. All right, everyone, thanks for joining, and I'll catch you next time. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. If you would like to earn a black, get in touch. See ya.
Highly recommend you use the good deli ricotta. You can pick it up at a good price point at Aldi as well. The one in the little basket, not the tub stuff. It's just not the same. This feeds for adults easily. It's very filling, very delicious, and a really lovely pasta dish. Hope you enjoy it. Give it a try. Let me know what you think.